Welcome back to another Premier League predictions video where it is week 2 of this 2022-2023 season. Last week was a complete and utter disaster. Nathan, you came away with just the 4.5 points. I came away with just the 6 points, and we only had one perfect score between us. Top scorer last week, who did ever so well, was the Prodigy, and he or she came away with 14.5 points and 4 perfect scores overall. And remember, we're playing this over at superbru.com, and there will be details of that to follow at the end of this video. So fingers crossed we can do a lot better this week, like Haaland did with his opening brace for Manchester City. But let's move on and get down to business.
Okay, so first up we got the midday on BT between Aston Villa and Everton. Now Everton, well, not the greatest of starts, losing to a Chelsea side who are a little bit meh. Well, we all know how that's going to lead on with Everton. Their squad depth really does look terrible. They're coming up against an Aston Villa side, however, losing 2-0 to Bournemouth did not look good on the first day of the season. Tricky one, to be honest, with this one. Both teams looking out of it really, but I'm just going to edge it to Villa at home 1-0.
1-0. Yeah, I'm going to go for Villa as well. A lot of people were tipping Villa to open the campaign with a victory away there on the south coast against Bournemouth. They didn't. They got plenty of pace throughout the team, but they didn't actually show it. So Everton, only a 1-0 defeat at home against Chelsea. They are looking a bit toothless. I think they've got a few injuries. I'm going to edge this one to Villa, and I'm going to go 2-1 to the Villains at Villa Park. Then on Saturday, the first of the 3 o'clock kickoffs, we see Arsenal coming up against Leicester. Arsenal, a good, solid,
looking very good
2-0 victory on Friday night against Crystal Palace. And Leicester, it was a 2-2 draw against Brentford, wasn't it, where they let that lead slip. So I think Arsenal are going to get a couple of goals in this one. Jesus, even though he didn't score, he looked very sharp up front. Leicester, they could get some goals, but I don't think they will in this one. Arsenal's defence looks fairly solid, you could say. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 home victory to the Gunners.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm going to edge it 2-0 to Arsenal as well. I think Leicester, they might show something, but with the way that Arsenal played against Palace looked very good as well. I can just see Arsenal winning a few, to be honest, and I think they can have a really strong start to the season, even seeing them in top 2 maybe. But anyway, moving on, next we've got Brighton against Newcastle. Now Newcastle looking very decent with a very good win against Nottingham Forest, even though, well, it's Forest's first game in the Premier League for over 20 years, isn't it? And then Brighton, of course, beating a hapless Man United. Now the question is, were Brighton good on the weekend, or were Man United absolutely terrible? I'm going to sit on the fence here, and I'm going to go 1-1 because of Newcastle traditionally not good when going right down south to like London and Brighton.
Yeah, Pascal Gross doing really well against Manchester United there, opening his campaign with a couple of goals. Newcastle, what was I thinking last weekend? A newly promoted team in Nottingham Forest. A lot of changes of personnel on the pitch. I went for a victory, and of course at home at St James's Park, Newcastle won. Difficult one to predict, this one. It's going to be tight. I think there'll be a few goals in it. It could go either way. It could end up in a draw, but I fancy the Magpies just in this one. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 away victory to the Mags, but it's going to be close. Next up, we got Man City coming up against Bournemouth. Now Manchester City didn't really blow West Ham away, but they were professional.
Haaland was a monster.
He was professional. Haaland, his second goal, how he took it. It was, he didn't even take a touch, just positioned his body, slotted it into the West Ham net. Bournemouth, good victory at home against Aston Villa. But I found
Kiefer Moore getting the goal as well.
Rising highest. His first goal in the Premier League as well. Like, what a journey his career has been from non-league to Premier League and also international football, and will probably feature in the World Cup later this year. But I'm going to go for Manchester City victory in this one, and I think they're just going to turn over Bournemouth 4-0. And I can't remember now, I'm not sure the latest news. Bernardo Silva, is he on his way to Barcelona?
Who knows? Probably not, considering the absolute state that club's in. But anyway, yeah, I think it's going to... Man City should dispatch Bournemouth in this one, especially at home. But I don't think it'll be 4-0. I'm going to say 3-0 and sit on the fence a little bit. Next up, we got Southampton versus Leeds. Now, Southampton got an early goal with James Ward-Prowse and then just completely fell apart like a packet of crisps. And then you've got Leeds... Very good win, I'd say, against Wolves at home. That really shocked me, actually, even though, well, Wolves did end to the end of last season, didn't end well, but it looks like they're going to have a poor start as well this year. So I am just going to edge it to Leeds in this one, 1-0. Not sure what to make of Southampton. Will they bounce back? Probably not. And yeah, they're going to be rooted to the foot of the table for a while, I think. Yeah, a lot of people tipping Southampton to go down this season. However, I think at home against Leeds... this week they must have worked on stuff in training, so I'm actually going to go for a Southampton victory in this one. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to the Saints. Surely these are the games that they need to be picking up 3 points in front of their fans at home for the first time this season in the Premier League. Yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Southampton. Then we've got Wolves coming up against Fulham. Now Fulham, a lovely 2-2 draw against Liverpool. Could have won that match. I think they hit the post as well. Mitrovic proving that was wrong in the first match of the season. Well, they're using him. That's a start.
They were playing to his strengths and everything, and he really bullied that Liverpool rearguard, especially Trent on at the right back position there.
We all know how good Trent is defensively.
Yeah. So Wolves tipped them to beat Leeds last week, didn't happen. I think this one's going to end up in a draw in the Midlands, 1-1. I'm going to go for in this fixture.
Interesting. I actually disagree a little bit. I don't know why, but I think Wolves are going to bounce back, and Fulham, they're going to go in with a bit too much confidence into this game, considering the way they play against Liverpool. So I'm going to go 2-1 Wolves. However, I can fully expect that Fulham to win this one and even win it comfortably, but I'm just not sure. I'm going to play it safe. Moving on to the evening kickoffs, 5:30 on Sky between Brentford and Man United. Man United, where on earth do we start, quite frankly?
And how do you predict this game?
Exactly. In Brentford, Desmond against Leicester did go 2-0 up and then just absolutely bottled it. I really don't know. I'm going to go out on a whim here. Brentford at home, first game of the season. I'm going to go 1-0 Brentford. It's going to take time for Man United.
It wouldn't surprise me, but when Ronaldo entered the fray, they did look a lot better against Brighton. They had that focal point up front. They caused them some issues, didn't he? That Brighton rearguard. But Brentford, good 2-2 draw against the Foxes. Man United, they're going to have to start somewhere, aren't they? Getting points on the board. They did win this fixture last season 3-1. I think they will score, but I think Brentford will as well. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in this fixture in London. Then we move on to the Sunday fixtures, where we've got Nottingham Forest taking on West Ham. I think Nottingham Forest from last week, I think it looks like they're going to take a little bit of time to settle those new players bedding in, but they have got a lot of pace in that side, a lot of skill, etc. But West Ham are no mugs. They've got new players in themselves. Tight game, but with the Premier League experience of West Ham, they've been in Europe, and they've been doing well in the league in the last few years. So I'm just going to edge this one to the Hammers. I'm going to go for a 2-1 away victory to West Ham.
Interesting. Yeah, it's difficult with Forest for me. I just don't know, because they were all right against Newcastle, but then again, Newcastle looking really good so far, and it is their first game in the Prem for 20. I just don't know about Forest yet. It's going to take a few games to be interesting. Whereas West Ham, they did what they could against Man City, but it is Man City at the end of the day. I do think Nottingham Forest will score at their first game back at the City Ground. That's going to be an unbelievable atmosphere there for our first match. We went there last season, and even then, when they were bottom of the league, it was absolutely superb. So I'm probably going to edge it West Ham 2-1 in this one, only just. Next up at 4:30, we got Chelsea against Tottenham. Difficult London clash this one. Chelsea looked okay against Everton, but they should be playing a lot better, to be honest. Still lacking that true number 9, aren't they? Especially with Timo Werner going out of the club as well.
Back to his old stomping ground.
Probably Leipzig, who's going to play up front from now on. Very interesting. Spurs looked extremely good against Southampton last time round, but it is Southampton. I'm going to edge it to Spurs in this one at Stamford Bridge 2-1.
Yeah, well, last season Chelsea actually did the double over Spurs, and I think they actually beat them 4 times in all competitions. So
That's impressive.
by tipping Spurs, I'm going against the grain on this one. You're going for Spurs. I'm going to go for Spurs. How a Spurs? They did look very good against Southampton. Plenty of pace. I think. Yeah, the pace of like Son on the break is going to hurt them. Kulusevski, superb. Harry Kane didn't even get on the score sheet last week.
Yeah, but it's August.
Pardon?
It is August.
It is August, but yeah, 4 goals, no goals for Harry Kane. I'm going to go 3-1 to Spurs. How is Chelsea going to concede 3 goals? Well, they will, I think, this weekend. So yeah, Chelsea 1, Spurs 3. And the final fixture of this weekend, which takes place on Monday on Sky Live, I think it's 8 o'clock kickoff. We've got Liverpool against Crystal Palace. Palace losing that opening fixture against Arsenal, and
good,
Liverpool 2-all. I think Liverpool will win this one. Nunes coming off the bench, and what a goal. Sort of scissors flick, wasn't it, to open his account in British football in the Premier League. I think Liverpool will need to tighten up the defence. Maybe Klopp will work on it during this week. So I'm going to go for 2-0 victory to Liverpool.
I think it's going to be a little bit narrower than that.
Yeah.
Palace, really difficult start to the season for them. I think they will just about... They'll put up a good fight, but Liverpool will just get too much in the end. It's just 1-0 to Liverpool.
Brilliant. So that concludes our predictions for week 2 now of this Premier League of the 2022-2023 season. Make sure you leave your predictions over at the Superbru website, link in the description, and also the code. And there it is on the screen. If anyone's asking in the comment section, it's there on the screen and it's in the description. Thanks for joining and playing along as well. This weekend, Nathan, we're off to the football again.
Yes, midday against Birmingham City. Let's hope we win this one this time. It's better than the last 2 matches.
And will there be a vlog on the channel as well? At some point?
That'll be, I don't know when that's going to be out, but it'll be out.
Fantastic. Thanks you all once again for joining us. Leave your predictions, Superbru, and in the comments, because we read each and every one. But for now, we'll bid you farewell. Enjoy your Premier League weekend. We'll see you next time.
I just want to be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, yeah.